Hello everyone, this is Terry. We're back with the Ford Ranger and we're going to do trying to pull this bed off to get to a sending unit. Also I want to introduce my brother-in-law, Connie. He's going to be my associate here. He's going to help me get this bed off, so he's going to be working with me on this job.
I'll try.
Oh, you'll do fine.
Hey.
Okay, come on up here. We'll show you what we're going to do the first thing. Okay, first thing, whenever we're working around fuel, for safety's sake, we got the DC negative removed from the battery. So that's the first thing, get that out of the way. Make sure you get it tucked out of the way so it won't come back and get up there and make a connection. Okay. Okay, look, now what we're going to do right now is you see that we've got 6 bolts here. There's 2 more, and then there's 2 up here at the very, very front of the vehicle. Okay. One over there, one over there. Looks like these are going to be T55 Torx heads. Now the service manual said to break the 6 nuts that's up underneath this vehicle. Well, it turns out there is no nuts underneath here. It's a spring clip. I'll show you what that looks like. Now what we've done here, we're going to let this stuff soak overnight. Now as far as the best stuff I think to breaking stuff loose and getting oil is this here Aerocrol. This stuff here is better than PB Blaster, I believe. So it does a great job. We're going to let it sit overnight. And I've sprayed, and by the way, this one right here, you cannot get to access underneath here. You cannot feel it, you cannot see it. But these others out here, these other 5, you can get to them, you can see them. So what we're doing is for this one, we're just spraying it. And you can see how it's soaking down in there. So we're hoping what's going to happen is it'll get down there on the threads and it'll loosen this thing up. And as I mentioned, we're going to let this thing sit overnight. Now the other 5, we could get to the threads of the bolts, spray them down good, and even came back up here on the top side, just like I did that one a while ago, and just spray down in there. Hope we can get some of this stuff soaked down in there on the threads. Looks like they're stainless steel bolts. It doesn't look like it's too much corrosion. So let me show you what one of the bolts will look like, and that'll give you an idea what you'll be looking at. Now if you look right up there, it's maybe hard to see, but there's one of them right there. And Connie, he can try to zoom in just a little bit, so he can kind of see that.
Yeah.
So there you go. You can see the spring clip. You can see there is no nuts there, so everything is going to be taken out from the top side. So we're going to let this sit, and we'll get back with you guys in the next shot, and we'll see how this will go. Okay, we're back with the Ford Ranger here. Now I've broken the bolts loose, and you can see one of the bolts right there. Yeah, pretty long bolt. Okay. We figure we'll let Connie do a little bit of work here. Wasn't too bad to break these loose. I just used a pull. If he keeps on doing that, we're going to have to teach him how to use a ratchet.
Hey.
Just so you guys can see there, it looks like there was some Loctite. Looks like it might have been red Loctite on this here. So, just so you're aware of that. Okay. Here's a bolt, the 3rd bolt we've taken out. You can see it's pretty rusty here. So I hate to even imagine what would happen if we hadn't put this penetrating oil down in here. So, and we let this, like I said, we let this thing sit overnight. But so far they seem to be coming out pretty good so far. Now we could have took a impact wrench, you know, it got down in here, but I didn't want to do that not knowing how tight these bolts was going to be as far as being seized. And Then all we needed to do is start rounding this out, and then at that point then we are screwed. So I wanted to do this the old-fashioned way, get in there with a pull bar, 1/2 inch, and just break them loose, which I was able to do. So got all of them broken loose, and Connie's up here now. He's got a ratchet. And we could take an impact, spin them all out, but he needs a little bit of exercise anyway.
Oh yes.
All right, now we want to make a note. These 4 bolts right here, you can see they're shorter. Now these 4 bolts went back here at the back, okay, where the tailgate is at. 2 here, and the other 2 over there. Now take note of these other 2 right here. These 2 are longer than the other 4. Now these 2 that's longer is going to go up there to the very front, right behind the cab, okay? Okay, I'm going to let Connie explain what he's going to do in this next procedure here.
Right guys, we have this fuel filter to take off. So take the cap off, and I found out that this was a number 7 one. So you have to unbolt these 3. Real slow, you don't want them to slip. So the idea is that the fuel line is actually, right now it's part of the body, and we need to disconnect this so the body is free of it. So when we lift the body up, the fuel line is not damaged. Right guys, so I've taken the 7mm heads off, and I've taken the fuel cap off, which comes along with it. See, the fuel cap secures with one of them heads. The thing to notice here is that the fuel line, when the heads are off, is flexy, so we can push it in before we lift the body up. Okay, but we're not still ready yet, so we put the fuel cap back on, because we're still gonna have to disconnect a few more things like the lights and stuff. So safety first, put this back on, and we work on the lights then. Okay, I'm under the left rear of the truck. I'm right here at the tail light assembly. Now what we got to do is, if you can see this plastic conduit. This plastic conduit is coming along, and it's going up, and it's going straight up to where the tail light is at. So what we're thinking about doing is we're going to take the tail light reflector assembly out, and we're going to take and disconnect that. Now this here bed, you see right here, there's a fastener. You look on the other side, it's pretty typical of what you're going to see. So we're going to release these here fasteners so that we can get this here, the routing of this conduit now separated from the bed. Now this conduit, you'll follow it all the way down, and you're going to see that there's a connector right here. Now you can see that it's got a fastener there, so I'm going to separate that, and I'm going to lift this up. I'll separate this connector, and then this conduit is still going down, down, down. Now this is the one right here for the license plate light. That one looks okay. Looks like we could leave him intact. That's going to be hard to follow, but you're going to have to get up under here, but you'll see it. There's part of it right there. And you see where it's strapped. It's strapped to the bed. And it's going on down, down, and now it's going up, and it's hitting up and going into the right tail light assembly. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to work on one of the tail light assemblies, and we're going to drop the conduit down, then we'll come back and then start breaking these fasteners loose. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to work on this here right tail light assembly. Got 2 screws right here we're going to work on first. So we're going to take them out. Alright, now we also have 2 screws on the inside. So drop your tailgate. See these 2 silver screws right here. We're going to take them out. Alright. Alright, now we're going to take the tail light assembly out. Alright. Let's start up here on the top one. So I'll give you a shot so you can see that, so you can see what it looks like. Okay. What you want to do, turn it a quarter turn, pop it out. Quarter turn, pop it out. Quarter turn, pop it out. Okay. Now take a look down here. Now what I'm going to do is going to take these bulbs out, okay? Now I'm not sure what the numbering is on these bulbs. This one here is a 3156. This one here is a 3156. And this one here is a 3157, okay? So you have to make a note of this one right here, okay? 3157. Pull it out, okay? Let's pull this one out. And let's pull this one out. Okay, now if you look down here, we got enough that we can pass this here conduit assembly down. We have to pass one connector through at a time. Okay. One. There's a second one. And then here comes the third. Okay, so now we see that that'll drop down. Okay. Alright, we're on the left tail light assembly now. Okay. Same scenario. Taking these out. You can see the difference in the screws. Those the silver ones goes on the inside, and there's the one that goes on the outside, the reflector. Okay. Alright, quarter turn to the left, out, quarter turn, and he's out. Okay. Alright, here's one note. Look at the back of these sockets. You see that they're labeled. You got a number on them. Okay. Now, you see how we got a 3, we got a 4. Now this is just like on the other side. We found this out just a while ago. The one with the 3157 bulb, okay, 3157 is going to be
with number 4, yeah.
where the number 4 is, okay? So let's take him out. And of course, just like on the other side, the other 2 sockets are going to be the 3156 bulb. Again, you want to pass the conduit down. You have to put, like I said, pass one connector down through a time. There's one connector passed through. Second one,
And there's the third one. So there they are, just hanging down.
Clear off the body, yeah?
There you go. Clean them out.
Yeah, there we go. Alright guys, it's time for us to push the fuel line in. So take the cap off, and if you see, Ted is already under the truck, ready for it.
I'm underneath the truck, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to pull it in. This is a flexible rubber hose. Now we don't want dirt and everything to fall back down inside this filler pipe.
Alright.
Now look, what I'm going to do, you see here's the cap. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to screw it back into the filler pipe. Like I said, we don't want any dirt and debris falling down inside of the gas tank here. So that's all we're going to do. Alright, so now that's secure. Alright. Okay, I'm underneath the vehicle now. Now we're releasing the fasteners here for this here conduit. Now some of these conduit fasteners I've already taken loose. You can see there's one right there. Okay. Then there's another one further down. But as you come across up in here, you're going to see that you can't get your fingers up in there, your hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this body and we're going to slide it back that way to give me more clearance up in here so I can get up here to these fasteners to release this here conduit. And we're just going to continue right on across until we get this whole conduit unfastened from this bed. And I believe at that point we're going to be good to go.
Yeah.
You can see what we've done here looking at the bed. We lifted the back end up and we slid it back a little bit just to sit it up here on the bumpers. Okay. Now what that's going to do, now see we got this whole wiring harness, this conduit exposed. Now we can get up in there, we can break these fasteners. Now look, see this connector that I mentioned earlier? You see how that's tied to the frame, and it's also going up here and it's connected up here onto the body. So let's go ahead and get that. If you look right here, there's a tab right here. Take the tab, push it down. While you hold it down, pull it apart. Okay, now let's see what else we got up here. Alright, we got one right there. Let's get this panel removal tool. You see we got one right there. Okay, there's one. Okay, got another one right over here. Okay, that one's down. Now it looks like we got another one up here. Alright, now that one looks like it's going to probably take a screwdriver. Can't see anything. It's going to look like a little field operation here. Alright, that one's down. Now the whole harness is down. In fact, we could just take the whole thing out. Alright, so there you go. There's the whole harness for it. Okay. Now you can remember just to put this back, you remember this here connector is back on the left hand side, so it'll be like that. See how it's left hand connector is on the shorter end of this here part of the harness versus in this area, just right here. Okay, just so you guys see that. Okay. Hey guys, now look, we've got a Ranger with no bed on here. I want to show you guys looking at these spring clips, spring nuts I should say. This is what they look like. Here's our channel right here, and you can see they're all tied up on the top side of the edge here. So,
and this is the one which had the longer.
Right, these are this one and this one over here, the ones closest to the cab. Remember, they have the two longest bolts. And then you have the other ones here. Right, there they are. So you got two right here, and then of course you have the two over here on this side over here. Okay, and we'll clean this up. I'm looking, I don't see any shims, no shims. Service manual said there's a possibility that it might be some shims sometimes when they, put it together. But looking at this, I don't see any, so we're good to go on that. Actually, this turned out pretty easy. It wasn't as bad as we thought.
It probably took us an hour and a half, you know, to get this bed off, and you know, we're stopping and staging the video, so it's a no big deal. And here's our gas tank. Now you can see we got a lot of dirt. You're seeing it just like it is right now. We just took the bed off a couple of minutes ago. We got the bed laying over here. Okay. All right. Now, when you take a look, you can see our filler pipe. Now you remember I was telling you about the cracking on it? Probably cracked up here where it's on top of the tank. You can see it's cracked right there. So when I fill it up, you remember how it would just overflow? So there's a problem. Got a sending unit, got a fuel pump, everything is right here. We're going to clean this up. We're going to put in we'll put a new fuel pump in it, new sending unit. But before we do that, we're going to diagnose it from this end now. So if you remember the pot that I made, I did everything up here under the hood. So we had the connector, broke it apart. We put the pot in there to simulate the sending unit. Now there's one possibility, maybe there could have been a wire broke in here. Not likely, but we're going to verify it now, because now we're right here. We knew we had to come to the tank, so now we're going to come in here. We're going to simulate, put the pot in here, right here, where the sending unit is at. Now we're going to see if this is going to work as far as the gauge moves just like it did before. Now, if the gauge works fine, then we know everything from the wiring here back to the instrument cluster fuel gauge is all great. And then at that point, I'll go in here, I'll make another resistance check. Then if it was like 50.8 megohms on the sending unit, I'll put the ohm meter on there, we'll check it. Looks bad, then that's when we're going to get our parts. So even at this point, I'm still not going to buy any parts until we're going to do a little more diagnosis to verify that the wires are okay from here all the way back to the instrument cluster. So this is a good point right now, I think, to close this video out. Next shot, we're going to do some diagnosis, just what I talked about, how we're going to do it with the pot that I made, and then we'll follow it up and we'll start putting the sending unit in. We didn't have any issues with the fuel pump, but this the engine here's got 276,000 miles on it. You know, you go through all this trouble, just as well go ahead and put a new fuel pump on here. So that's what we're going to do. So that's going to be in the following videos coming up. So anyway, so you guys stay tuned and we'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching.